Welcome back. This is Jeff Byers. We're going to continue with dice modeling video 3. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead, and now that we have this completed, all we need to do now is put it all together. So right now, if I select everything, my marquee select everything by holding the left mouse button and holding it down as I move this box around it, you're going to marquee select everything that's within that box. If I do this, you'll just marquee select little pieces of the box. Okay, I use this type of technique all the time when I select stuff. Just click off, marquee select the whole thing, and you'll select the entire box. What we want to do is we want to combine all this together. So there's one of two things. We can go hold down the space key and go to mesh and combine, or we can go up here to combine. So just click on the icon up here if you want to. If you don't see that, hold down the space bar, go to mesh, combine. So you can do it many ways. I'm going to go ahead and that's the high resolution right there, which is pretty cool. So let's go ahead and hit the 3 key. Now notice that when we hit the 3 key, we've got all these spaces and spots that look like they're not connected, and they're not. They're still basically separate pieces, meaning that I'm going to click on this guy again and hit the 1 key, meaning that we didn't merge all the vertices. We still have vertices that are on top of each other. So case in point is this. We're going to go in here to marquee select this vertex on the corner. Now I selected. I'm going to hit the 4 key to do a wireframe, so you can see the wireframe. And when I select this by itself, we see that I have 3 vertices lying on top of each other. That is not a good thing. We need to merge all these vertices together. So, meaning that everything that's on top of that particular point, we have 3 vertices that we have to merge. Well, I don't want to do every single one of these one by one, right? That would be insane. So I would go in here, hit the 5 key, go to vertex, and marquee select the whole thing. Marquee select the whole entire thing. And when you do that, you can go to, I'm going to hold the space bar down, go to edit mesh, and we're going to go to merge. So scroll down to merge. So edit mesh, merge, and go into the option box. Okay, that's a little square next to the word option box. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and type in this number, 0.0. So do a point, period, 0, 0, 1. So we're going to have really small amount, 0, 0, 1. Now, when we hit enter, that's going to give us a very small amount threshold. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll in here with my middle mouse button, rotate around a little bit before I merge it, and find the closest, like the really closest point here. Okay, I'm going to look at that and watch that. So there's 3 there in a row. If I click on merge and those collapse together, then that threshold is not high enough, okay, or low enough, meaning we have to put another 0 in front of the 1. So I'm going to click on merge. Everything's fine. Everything's good. So that did a good job. So we're good there. So now this is where things get a little hairy when you're actually merging vertices. You have to watch and make sure you don't merge any vertices like those 2 together or whatever. The close ones are the ones you have to watch out for. If I hit 3 key, now I click off, and that looks great. There's no holes in it. Looks awesome. Okay, and there we go. So, so we've got our dice finished. Okay. So there are some people that would say, well, you need to have the 5 start up here and the 5 start up here. Well, you know, we could go back. I could go back to another save and spread those out a little bit more. But right now, we'll just take it as it is. So that looks good. So I'm going to click on it again, hit the 1 key. Again, when you hit the 3 key, it's just a preview. It doesn't actually smooth the dice, and I don't want you to save your scene with that. So, okay, what we're going to do is clean everything up. So click on the dice as a low poly, hit the 1 key, and we're going to go to Edit up at the top here, Delete by Type, History, and that's going to clear everything out. Okay, all right, and then we don't need to. It's dead center in here, so we'll just leave it the way it is. And what we need to do is duplicate this. So I'm going to do a Control D, okay, and then I'm going to hit this guy right here, which is create a new layer and assign selected objects. Click on that, and double click on this, and I'm going to type in low poly. Okay, that's going to be my low poly. Well, actually, it's not going to be my low poly. I should say that's going to be my medium poly. So I'm going to double click on that because we're going to have a low poly in there too. So medium. So let's change my mind. Medium. Click the V off. Okay. So we're going to select the one we originally had, and we're gonna do some other things to this. I think we're okay. I think that looks pretty good. I'm gonna take the wireframe off that object and take a look at it. It looks really good. I'm pretty happy with that. So go back to 1, and we'll go ahead and smooth this piece. Okay. So this one is needs to be smooth. So go in here, go to Mesh, hold down the spacebar, go to Mesh, and go to Smooth, and select the option box. In division levels, we're going to have it pretty high at 3. And let's go ahead and reset so it's easy for you. And then division levels we'll set to 3. Just type in 3 and smooth. It's going to take a little while, and it's going to be very high resolution. You can see in here that in this little box here, I can go back to 2 if I want, or I can go back, I can type in 1 if I want to. So that's kind of a powerful little tool. I'm going to go to 3 because I want it pretty high. And click off the object. And so this is the smooth, physically smoothed object. Okay, great. From here, we'll take you into low poly. So let's go ahead and we'll have this on, okay? But we should put this in a layer by itself. So I'm going to go click on a new layer, double click on this, and this is actually going to be called high poly. Okay, if you haven't, I would probably save everything now. Okay. Alright, so you can turn that off and on. So we don't have really anything in this dice here. We've got our medium poly. We've got our high poly now, which is good. Alright, that's fine. So we're going to have the high poly on, and we're going to go ahead and reference this one. So click on this tab right here under layers, under high poly, and make it a reference. So I can still see it, but I can't click on it. Now, don't get messed up and forget about that. You have that on, so you can turn that off again and click on it. See, if I have that on R, I click off of it, I can't click it again. Okay, the reason for that is because I'm going to create a low poly. Alright, so let's create a low poly. Hit the R for scale because it's in there. You just don't see it. You can hit the 4 key to see it there. 4 key. Let's see wireframe. I'm going to scale that up. Okay, so it just is just a little bit bigger than the high poly dice. I'm going to hit the 5 key so I can see it. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. There we go. So it envelops it just a little bit bigger. There we go. And then I'm going to create a bevel for this. That'll match it perfectly. So I'm going to right click over, go to Edge, and select the edges. And of course I can go in here to Edit Mesh and go to Bevel, or I can hold the spacebar. I'd rather you guys start learning how to hold down the spacebar. So I'm going to go to hold down the spacebar, Edit Mesh, go to Bevel, and click on the option box. So Edit Mesh, Bevel, option box. Okay. This kind of takes some time to figure out. So I'm definitely going to do 2 segments. I'm going to hit that. I have no idea what this is going to do, so I'm going to click on Apply. and that's way too soft. So I'm going to go Control Z. Let's go ahead and close this and do a Control Z. There we go. That goes back. Let's try it again. This time it was way too much. So go in here, and again I'm just going to have to make adjustments. So that's way too much. So let's do 0.01 and bevel. That's too small. So Control Z. There we go. Try it again. I told you this isn't an exact science. It depends on the scale of things. So maybe 0.1. Try that. Bevel. There we go. That looks pretty good. Actually, let's hit the 4 key for wireframe. Let's go to the side view and kind of take a look at this and see if it kind of mimics the edge, and it does. That looks really good. So what we can do here from the side view, I'm going to right click over this and go to object mode. Click on the object. Okay. There we go. And we can actually scale this until it matches that edge or close to it. Scale that down a little bit. There we go. And let's go hit the 5 key in the perspective view. And you can see that, I can kind of see that, just I want to make sure it's scaled up enough that it covers just a little bit. There we go. That's pretty good. I think that's good enough. I know it's kind of hitting some of that stuff, but if I get closer you can see that that it does cover it. So if you get a little closer, it will hide it a little bit better. There we go. And you zoom out, it looks like you didn't get it all, but you did. Zoom in. There we go. So there's the actual, that's the low poly. So that's the low poly we're going to use. That's great. So couple things. We're going to go ahead and get rid of this over here in the translate scale. Let's get rid of that. So let's go to modify, freeze transformations. So that'll freeze that up. And a couple things we need to do with this before we lay out the UVs is to edit, delete by type history, and that will take care of all the transforms in here, all the history. So go ahead and save this now. We'll come back and we'll lay out the UVs for the low poly.